Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today here on the air. We're taking your calls about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, over a year ago, we start work on a project. Rachel writing her latest book, and a year plus later, all of that work comes to fruition, and today is launch day on Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Ta-da!
It's here. It's out. Oh, I was telling my husband Winston last night, when we were going to bed, I was like, I feel like my child is being delivered in homes like all across America, because the books, some of them got delivered early. So people yesterday were on social holding them up and posting it. And I was like, oh, it feels like my child is out there in people's homes right now. And yeah,
Which
so
Winston
excited.
would not allow, by the way. But yeah,
wait.
you can do that with a book.
Yeah, not a real child, not my real child, but it feels like a child. So
well,
I'm excited.
It is a long pregnancy.
It's a labor of love in so many ways. Because I actually ended up writing it almost 2 years ago, because I did it before I had my third baby, because I wanted to spend maternity leave not writing the manuscript. So I wrote it before that, had maternity leave, and then came back and started doing edits. So it's been a long cycle, but it's fantastic that it's out, and people are already loving it. So I'm so thankful.
The response has been right out of the gate really strong, and of course you're working. What book launch week means is you're working 16-hour days, doing a couple of hundred media hits in about a 3-day period of time here.
Yes, yeah. Here at the office about 6
including
a.m.
in the morning. Yesterday, Rachel Ray, and tomorrow morning, Good Morning America.
Yes.
Wednesday morning for those of you listening on different times, but Wednesday morning, Good Morning America, I'll be watching. Current hit time is around 8:23, if I remember right.
Yes.
So be watching for that. But also in your local television stations, you're hitting every major market. We can do all of that from our studios here with fiber these days, and sure does make it easier than being on a bus.
It does. I mean, I miss book tour. When we launch books, we're out for about 2.5 weeks traveling and going to each city and doing book signings at night, media during the day. And I love that. I think it's so fun. So the fact that it got canceled because of COVID-19, I was like, oh man, it's like one of those things that was canceled that everyone has that in their personal life where you're like, oh, I just hate that I don't get to do that. So,
well, you don't get to see the people. And you enjoy the people.
And I enjoy going out to eat at all the different restaurants in every city.
Oh, there it is.
No, and
there it is. Now we got to the bottom.
I enjoy all of that. I really do. And I mean, obviously, yes, meeting the people and being in the studios and doing it all. But this is fantastic. Yes, with 3 little kids at home, it's worked out. It's great. So I'm able to be home in my bed at night, but here in the day, helping promote it, because it's been interesting. Even this morning, I did about 10 different cities in a row, and almost half of them were like, yeah, well, our entire crew's been talking about it, because, I talk about the 7 tendencies in the book and the money fears and your money personality and how you grew up, and they all are connecting it to themselves. So it's fun that it already has connected, even just in a brief discussion about it.
Well, and since we can't do like real launch parties and real book signings, we are going to do a virtual launch party tomorrow night, January the 6th, Wednesday night, and another one on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Is that right, both of them?
Yes, correct, 7 p.m.
And, okay, I've got 6 on my notes, so I don't know what's right.
Oh.
But do we know what's right? Is it 7 or 6? Okay.
I'm almost positive it's 7.
Okay. Anyway.
I'm not great at details. I'm a free spirit. So I might be late to my own launch party.
This other note says 7, so
I'm pretty sure
I've
it's
got
7.
one of each, but you find it out?
It's on rachelcruz.com. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 7 p.m.
So virtual launch party, rachelcruz.com. You can ask her your money questions. Join the virtual launch party. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yes, both nights.
Okay, now we have clarification on that. So I will fix that note.
I was right.
Then. You were right.
Which is
this
surprising,
paper was
honestly,
right. This one was wrong.
Which is kind of surprising.
So that's it. Well, no, it's not. You got a couple things up in the air, and you're memorizing all of it. It's perfect. So there you go. 7 p.m. Wednesday night and Thursday night, January 6th and 7th, the virtual launch party. You can go to rachelcruz.com to ask her your money questions. Okay, so know yourself, know your money. the thing that is resonating is the way you grew up with money and the money tendencies, the 7 money tendencies. Are you scarcity or are you abundance?
Right. Yeah. So the whole book really was this deep dive into understanding why. So we talk about the how-to. We've been doing that for decades now, right? How to get out of debt, how to budget, how to invest, how to give. And so I started really this process, this was a few years ago, where I remember diving into like the Enneagram and learning about myself. I was in some counseling. I read the book, The Birth Order, because I'm a middle child, like seeing just how all of how you were raised and your current environment affects how you see the world and your personality. And I thought, man, how does that relate to our money? And it felt like this black hole of content because I was like, there is so much here of why we view money the way we view it, why we handle it, why it's our habits and our person, like all of that. And when you can start to get a grasp on that, then you can start making effective change. You can actually start to say, okay, I can change my money habits because I know when I'm being unhealthy in a certain place or where that's a great habit and I can magnify that. So in turn, it helps you win with money so much faster and gives you lasting financial peace.
As an example, if you understand that you are scarcity versus abundance,
yes,
what does that do for you?
Well, so the 7 money tendencies, neither one's right or wrong. On the extremes of these, they can be unhealthy. So if you're an abundance mindset person, you see the glass half full. There's always more opportunity, always more money to be made. But the bad side, the unhealthy of that is you can be unwise. You can make unwise decisions because
you think you can out-earn your stupidity.
Yes, 100%. You think, oh, it'll be fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, me.
As you raise your hand.
I've always been able to make more money.
Yeah. So that's an abundance mindset. So a more scarcity mindset, you see the glass half empty. And again, if that's your natural bent, that's not a bad thing. You're a little bit more cautious, a little bit more aware. But the unhealthy side of that, when you go to the extreme, you end up making decisions out of fear. You hold your money tightly because you feel like it's finite. You don't want to let go. So you're not extremely generous. You don't spend and enjoy. So that's unhealthy. So these tendencies to be able to pinpoint and say, okay, I can know when I'm going to those unhealthy extremes. So another tendency is status versus security. And this is why you want money. Some people want money for security. They want to feel like they are taken care of, that they're safe. I feel good. Now, again, the unhealthy side of that is they end up just stocking away. And money ultimately is not your security. Like there's a level of faith in our life and all of that. So that can be an unhealthy side. Status, not bad. And I'm more of this. I want money so that I can enjoy it, so that I can buy things, I can experience things. I will budget so that I can spend. Like that's where I get my motivation. Now, the unhealthy side of that is that your identity ends up being the things that you buy, materialistic or your accomplishments, that becomes who you are, and that's not healthy. So that's an interesting one to figure out, why do people want to win with money?
And we started this years ago. I identified people doing budgets, and you included that in the 7 tendencies of being a nerd or a free spirit. And you guys have been through Financial Peace University 20 years ago, heard all that.
Yep.
And the
Spender
nerd,
versus saver. Yep.
Again, the same thing. The nerd can be too uptight, too detailed, clamp down the free spirit. The free spirit's there for you to have fun. And free spirits have to be mature enough to live on a plan so that they get to do more free spiriting, that kind of stuff. Know yourself, know your money. You can get it at DaveRamsey.com, RachelCruz.com. Discover why you handle money the way you do and what to do about it. It is on sale officially today. It's book launch day. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian healthcare ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
CHM is not health insurance, but it is Christians helping other Christians by sharing each other's medical bills.
The medical bill sharing from CHM was exactly the way the website described it. There were no surprises, no bait and switch, no hidden agenda. CHM did everything they said they would by sharing all of our eligible needs.
We like that it's a nonprofit ministry and that we were being better stewards of our money, all while helping other families.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Get started today and check us out at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We're answering your questions about life and money on the book launch day for Know Yourself, Know Your Money by Rachel, soon to be her latest #1. Danielle is with us in Richmond, Virginia. Hi, Danielle. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my daughter is 3, and she was diagnosed with leukemia at the beginning of April. So we paused our debt snowball, and my question is, at what point do you start it up again? She still has about 2 years left of treatment, and we just weren't sure when to start it up again.
Yeah. Takes my breath away. How's she doing?
She's doing very well. Treatment's moving right along. We're where we need to be. Kids are resilient. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. The kids are amazing when they fight this. It's the rest of us that fall apart. Oh,
yeah.
my gosh. Well, you got a long slog here, and job 1 is beat cancer, right?
Yes.
We don't have any other jobs to do. That's our only job.
Yes.
Anything else is like a side gig. Agreed?
Yes.
Including restarting your debt snowball, including all that kind of stuff. So let's just say that, number 1, it doesn't matter when you restart it. What does matter is that you do everything you can with money, time, effort, spirit, prayer, everything, and you pour everything into this job 1, okay? And it's all consuming, and it should be. And it's what you do. So let's do that. Now, you are kind of past the fog of some of that, and you're kind of in the rhythm of the treatments, given that it's coming up on the first year, right?
Yes.
And so if things are in a wacky world that you're in, somewhat normalized, the rhythm is somewhat predictable, and you have extra cash beyond what you need to fight cancer, and you want to start back a little bit, that's okay. I would not expect quote-unquote gazelle intensity, because I would not expect that of myself were I facing this.
Well,
but by the way, it's perfectly okay with me from the using the principles that we teach to do absolutely nothing towards your money except pile up cash, any extra cash you have. You need to not go crazy and go into a bunch of debt with, quote, grief spending or something like that, or justification or rationalization. Well, we can do anything we want to do because we've got this problem. No, because you got to go back and clean up the mess you make. And so don't make a mess, right? But pile up cash that would have gone towards debt, and if you want to just wait until the 3 years is gone and then restart, that's okay with me too. Rachel, what are your thoughts?
Well, Danielle, I was curious, how much debt do you guys have?
We've paid off the cars. We never got credit cards, so the only thing we have are my student loans, which is $42,000.
Yeah.
Your household income is what?
65, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
my husband's active duty military, so it's been a blessing having a steady paycheck during this.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I have a 3-year-old, Danielle, so I can't even imagine. Like, it kind of just makes me tear up talking to you, because I'm like, I can't even go there emotionally because it's so terrible. So, I mean, if that was me, I think everything else in my life just pauses, and I focus on my child. So I'm with Dave right there, where if you choose to do nothing for 2 years until treatment's over, 100% okay. Because that is your number one thing.
But if you had $42,000 in savings when that happened, at the end of the 3 years, that'd be the way to do it.
Okay.
In other words, you're not gonna again slide over and misbehave, but you're just not gonna pay down on the debt and have not enough money in savings to deal with something, because you might need to jump on an airplane and do something, right? To get a treatment.
It's almost like, Danielle, when someone's pregnant, we always say just pause for 9 months, wait till the baby's here, wait till everyone's good and healthy, and then whatever money you've saved, then you can put towards the debt. You can almost think of it like that, like a 2-year pause. We're going to just pile up cash. Okay, when everything's good and the treatment and everything is done and she's healthy on the other side, whatever you've piled up of savings, then you can just throw at the debt.
Yeah, but don't go buy a new car
No, right.
and say that that's okay because of the mess you're in. You made a bigger mess. And people do that sometimes.
Well, money's a coping mechanism,
yeah,
so it feels good.
you push your spending over, like food's a coping mechanism. You push your spending over to deal with the stress of this and the grief of having to fight this and all of that. So, yeah, that's just guard against that.
And it's what a lot of people dealt with, not this specifically, but in 2020, the 43% of Americans spent because of stress and anxiety during the pandemic. So you see the rise of spending to feel good is what you're talking about.
And 44% can't fit in anything but their sweatpants. I just made that up. But, yeah, I mean, there's that too. So, but, I mean, yeah, food and money are coping mechanisms.
Yes.
And
alcohol. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of coping mechanisms out
alcohol
there.
Sales are through the roof. They're almost as good as plexiglass sales.
I know. Okay.
I mean,
so anyway, so Danielle, the banner statement is making sure your spending is not just to cope, but for you guys to save, pause, take care of that baby.
Owen is with us in Newark, New Jersey. Hey, Owen, your question for Rachel and me.
Well, congratulations, Rachel, on your book.
Thank you, Owen.
I'm graduating in May. You're welcome. I'm graduating in May, and I have a very generous job lined up. And I was wondering how you would advise a 22-year-old who's transitioning from being a college student to making a full-time income. Of course, I'm going to get my emergency fund set up and using my full 401k match. But there's going through leftover income, and I don't want to waste it.
Oh, and do you have any debt currently when you graduate? Do you have student loans or credit card debt?
No, I was fortunate enough to get a nice scholarship.
Oh, awesome. Amazing. I would say, Owen, number one, the fact you're asking the question is encouraging because you're going to be starting this process at 22, which is incredible. So, yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you just said, just having some cash on the side for an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then looking into retirement and funding that 15% from there. And then, and even in the process, if I wouldn't buy a house right out of college, but having some savings, if you want to save up for a down payment on a home, because you know that may be coming later in life, doing that too. How much are you going to be making at your new job?
$157 plus a little stock.
Good night, Owen. What are you doing? What job?
Software.
Do what?
Software.
Software development?
Yeah, software engineering.
Okay, wow.
Nice,
good for
Owen.
You.
That's a great.
It's very impressive, young man.
That's a very good
very
first
impressive.
job out of college.
To give you an idea, I made exactly 10% when I came out of college of what you're going to be making when you come out of college.
I made 34.
So, yeah, I think you have a bright future, sir. You're going to be okay. Don't screw it up. Wow. Got a free ride somehow and comes out.
Well, because he's smart. I'm sure.
I got a feeling you're a smart guy.
Yeah. Academic scholarship. Yeah, we didn't have any of those either in the Ramsey household.
Hey.
No, I'm talking about me too. Owen, that's awesome.
Way to go, Owen. Way to go. Yeah, just save up some money, pile up some money, and get ready for your home purchase above your emergency fund, above 15% of your income. I think you already knew the answer to this. Congratulations, you are a stud. Well done.
Okay, so how do you feel sitting in your chair doing the show? How long have you been doing the show?
30.
30 years. You're getting more young people calling you than ever before, would you say?
I think it's a YouTube thing.
Okay.
The demographic on YouTube.
Do you feel like a grandfather of America where you're like these young
I used to be your peer when you called, and I have evolved into then I went to Uncle Dave, and now I'm just straight up Papa Dave. Yeah. There's no question about it. I mean, the guys calling are younger than my kids.
No. But that didn't happen 30 years.
No, it didn't happen.
It was like guys in their 60s calling you back in the day, right?
No. Well, I mean, it still
I'll say, great America. There's a hope for the future. There's a lot of young people like Owens.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts that he was a YouTube listener. Probably not an AM
probably
talk
created
radio
something
listener.
for YouTube.
I don't know. He could be. You never know. But there's how it works. Wow. That's awesome, Owen. So proud of you, sir. Very well done. Salute. You and your parents. Well done. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more. Ramsey personality, best-selling author Rachel Cruz is my co-host today. Always joining me, but today is a special day. It's launch day for her new book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. The team around here in high gear with marketing and appearances Rachel is doing, including Good Morning America in the morning. Be sure you jump on around 8:20, 8:15. You'll see her showing up around then. Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Discover why you handle money the way you do and what to do about it. A little inside baseball for those of you who don't know how things work behind the scenes. You would not believe that putting a title on a book and a subtitle on a book is many times more difficult than writing the book.
Yes.
The crap we go through around here to figure out how to name something to where when you read it, you go, okay, that's what the book's about, meaning the title is prescriptive, and the title doesn't need a subtitle to explain it, but helps explain it, and not having a subtitle that is in itself a book. I mean, there are so many of these things violated by authors and publishers every day, and we spend an inordinate amount of time, emotional energy, and money and creativity studying these things and testing these things before they come out. We probably looked at 40 different titles for this, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a lot because it was hard because I'm like, it's not the psychology of money. It's not your money personality. I mean, like, how do you put it in 4 words?
Yeah.
5 words, 6 words. I mean, it was a feat.
It is one of the more difficult things. It's a surprising thing. And you know why? One of the reasons it's so surprising was I accidentally was brilliant with my first book. I had no idea. No, I really was. I mean, Financial Peace is a genius title. That is a world-class title of a book. But it's just like, who thought? I just dreamed it up, and thank you, God, for giving me that idea, because I had no marketing team. I had nobody to test the title. I just said, you know what, that's what it's about. It's about having peace in your finances, and everybody will understand that. And it worked so well. And every book after then has been a labor to try to put my worst title is More Than Enough. That sucks. I really, and it's the worst selling book I've ever done, too.
You think it's because the title?
Yeah, well, no. The book is awesome. No, there's multiple reasons. I won't get into all of them, but some of them are my fault. Some of them might be the publisher, but the book itself is awesome once you get into it, but very few people have read it.
There you go.
So it's just, there you go. It's a process, you guys. Morgan is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Morgan. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave and Rachel. So I just had a question. Me and my husband, we bought a house 8 months ago out in the country. It's a really beautiful house. It's on a small river, third of an acre. But we thought it was a manufactured home, and it's actually a modular home. But you really can't tell because it has like a big porch and like a detached garage and things. And so we've been like putting a lot into it because we like kind of want it to be like our family home. And but we recently have just discovered that it has like a 2 very, very large problems. And one of them, it's not technically a problem yet, but it will be a problem in the next few years. And so we were trying to see if we should stay in this house, or if it would be wise to like stay in this house for as long as we wanted. We were wanting to like stay for like 7 to 9 years until we like outgrow the house. But we were just wondering if like, I don't know if we could get the money back if we did fix the larger issue. And so I was just wondering if you guys would advise that we should leave the house.
What are the two things? What are the two things? What do they cost, and what did you pay for the house?
So we paid $156 for the house, and one of the problems, we recently discovered that there was water damage in the mudroom. And so that's like the urgent problem that we currently are having to go back in our baby steps into our emergency fund to fix, because there's like mold and rotting wood in the floor. And but
what's that going to cost? What's that going to cost?
I'm hoping under $10,000.
Okay. So what's the other problem?
It's a foundation problem. We've recently had a lot of cracking in the house. There was already a lot of cracking, but the cracks have gotten wider just in the 8 months that we've been here. And so the guy that we had come out today, he said that with doing it at the very cheapest, it was probably going to be $15,000, but he couldn't even do it. And so the people that could do it are a much more expensive company. So they would probably be more around $20,000 to fix.
He said that.
The foundation problem.
He said that.
He did say that. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have enough information yet. Your
Okay.
feelings are hurt that your new house is broken.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have a financial catastrophe.
Okay.
Fix the mudroom, get 5 bids, and spend 6 months studying the foundation before you make a decision on it. Foundation repair is full of the people that do it are there are groups of people that do it that are wonderful people, and there's a bunch of jacklegs that just make up crap as they're going. And I think that's who you met today.
Well, he was.
I know he was
going to
nice,
give us
but
a
he
really
also
good
didn't know
deal,
how to
but
fix it, and he also gave you an estimate about what another person's
Yeah.
company would charge you, which is making up
Well,
crap.
He
pulled that out of his ear.
He had us call the other company. We called the other company, and we called the manufacturer of the house, and they were saying that we would only, because it has like this this protection underneath this insulated protection in the crawl space. He said that we would he said we'd have to get a specific kind of foundation specialist, which it's like a really small town we live in, and so the closest one.
You've had 3 conversations, and you're ready to move.
Okay.
Don't do it.
No.
Fix the mudroom and spend 6 months studying the foundation, getting more bids, talking to more people, finding more ways to fix it. There's a lot of things you can do to foundations. There's more than just one possible fix, and there's certainly more than just one possible company, even if you're quote unquote out in the country. You can pay people $5,000 and they will come out in the country and fix this for $7,000. I don't know. I'm making this up, but you don't know this yet, and so you've got to gather more information.
When's the point that you would say, no, yeah, you need to move, that it's not worth fixing? Because in order to sell it,
you got to fix it.
You have to disclose. Yeah,
you have to fix it or you have to disclose it.
Right.
One of the two. I mean, if it was an $80,000 repair on this, I'd have a lawsuit against the seller for not disclosing. You know, at that point, the people that sold it to them, and the real estate agents that are involved, and the home inspector that missed the inspection, which, by the way, never buy a home without an inspection, and these are the reasons right here. So you don't get your heart broken on the thing that you thought you were going to be in love with for 9 years, and now you find out you got mudroom with mold and a cracked foundation. So foundations in different states and in different regions are sitting on different kinds of soil, and there's all kinds of different situations. With you being in Florida, you're probably sitting on some version of sand, and so you know it's probably some version of slab, and I don't know. You're just gonna have to look at it and get in there and figure out what they do. In Tennessee, the fix would be different than it is in Florida. But I have owned over 2,000 pieces of real estate. I did rehabs for a living for a decade. And one thing I know is that it's guys working on houses are kind of like doctors. They are practicing. That's why they call it a medical practice. They're making crap up as they go. And they proved that during COVID. They didn't know what they were doing, and so they just did stuff. And so they're practicing medicine. And some of them are better at practicing than others. And none of them apparently are good at math. But the same thing's true of foundational people. They're practicing, they're trying to figure it out, and they're looking at 3 little cracks and trying to figure out how to fix your house. You need more information before you shut the economy down. That's what you're going to do. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. coming Tuesday night, we want to do something to help you guys kick off your new year right with money. After last year, a lot of people will raise their hand and say, I need to reset. I need to restart. I need to get a do-over. I need a whiteboard. I need to start fresh, and I'm ready, set, go. So we are doing a reset live stream live from lifechurch.tv in Oklahoma City this coming Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. That's January the 12th at 7 p.m. Central Time. It is free. It will be me, Rachel Cruz, Chris Hogan, and Pastor Craig Groeschel. And Rachel will be covering some of the material from Know Yourself, Know Your Money. I will, of course, be talking with Chris Hogan, and I'll be talking about how to walk you through the baby steps and how to do your reset. And Pastor Craig has an incredible, he's a world-class communicator, talk on discipline that I have loved, and I asked him to do it. It's really good. And so looking forward to this. It's going to be an absolutely incredible night. It is completely free. How do I watch, you say, Dave? Well, here's the deal. You text the word reset to 33789. Text reset to 33789, and it is a free, did I mention it's free, live stream this Tuesday night. That's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be great. I think that the content is really spot on for where we are, right? Early 2021, we did Message of Hope. We did a couple of things in 2020 to kind of set the course, and I think that this event, it's going to launch people into a new year to gain a new control over specifically their money, but also their life. Like you said, the discipline talk from Craig can be applied in every aspect of your life. Mm-hmm. But really getting your money under control this year, I think it's something that so many people feel. I wonder, and I'm sure stats will come out later in the year, resolutions, money's always in the top 3, but I wonder if it even rises to the top of the top because of 2020.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, after that dumpster fire, everybody's got to relook this, right? And go, thank God that's in my rearview mirror. Now I got to fix the mess that I made. Or maybe that was just my wake-up call. Or maybe I was doing pretty good, but I want to do even better because I never want to be vulnerable again. I don't want my family to be vulnerable financially because we're living deeply in debt and no money. And we don't have any wealth. And wealth is not valuable except what it does. That's the only thing it does. It gives you margin. It gives you a pad between the crazy things in life. You can't protect everything. You're still going to die. You know, there's lots of things. People still get sick. You can't control any of that. That's not the point. But wealth doesn't buy any of that anyway. All it does is give you the ability to manage the process, you know, as you're going through. And it gives you lots of options to do things. And if you need to buy an airline ticket to go visit a sick relative, you don't have to think about it because you've got the money. But when you need to buy an airline ticket to visit a sick relative and you're broke, now you have 2 crises, a financial crisis and a sick relative. Yeah. And so you've got all of these things going on, and this is your chance to reset and not leave yourself vulnerable again. Text the word reset to 33789. It's this coming Tuesday night. We want you there. There's already over 65,000 people registered to watch this. It is going to be the largest live stream we've ever done. It's going to be probably 150,000 people by the time the numbers are in next Tuesday. So we're really, really excited about this. All right, Jake is with us. Jake's in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Jake. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave and Rachel. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I have a question. So this year I became debt-free. I followed the baby steps, and I'm debt-free, and I've got approximately $70,000 in the bank with that's including my emergency fund.
Nice.
My issue is that my mother and my older brother with mental disabilities live in a dilapidated house that's owned by my grandpa. She's been living in it for 17 years without paying any kind of rent, and he refuses to maintain it at all. So it hasn't had anything done to it in 17 years. It's currently falling apart. It has mold in it. It has holes in the wall. I mean, it's pretty bad. I've been running the numbers, and I think it's going to be about a $100,000 remodel. So my question is, should I buy this house from my grandpa and then put the money in out of my savings into doing the remodel, even though I may not have enough right now? Or do I say, forget this house and then move them out into a different house because this is an unhealthy situation and I'm not sure how to fix this situation at the moment?
Mm-hmm. What do you make a year?
I make about $110,000.
How old are you?
32.
You're an extraordinary young man.
Thank you.
willing and able to do this for your mom and your brother with disabilities. Well done. So what I always think of is what is the most efficient way, financially and time-wise, to accomplish the goal. And the goal is for your mother and brother to have a place to live that's not mold infested and falling
Yes,
down.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, there's two things you can do. What would I do if I were in your shoes? Is your home paid for?
I actually sold my home at the beginning of the pandemic, and now I'm renting really cheap. So I lowered my living expenses by 75% by renting.
Mm-hmm.
So
at some point, again, you will buy and move on with your life in that part of your world. Are you single?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I would do a two-step procedure if I were in your shoes. One is I would move them out into an inexpensive rental immediately.
Okay.
And just pay for it.
Okay.
You make a ton of money, and you have a ton of money in comparison to them. And by the way, a few months of rent is a lot less than buying a house for $100,000 or remodeling a house for $100,000. You can rent a long, long time for $100,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we don't want to do this forever, but my point is use of your cash and burning of your cash. If you rented them a property for 2 years, what could you rent it for?
Approximately the rent around there, it would be about $1,300 a month, I believe.
Okay. All right. And so, I'm probably going to cheat on that and say, let's try to, they're living in a dump now. Let's try to make it $1,000. That's $12,000. If you did it for 2 years, that'd be $24,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's a sizable upgrade from where they are. During that 2 years, save money and buy an inexpensive property that is way nicer than they're living in now and pay cash for it and just let them live there.
Okay.
And I think you could probably pull that off in 2 years, couldn't you?
Yes, sir. I think so.
And then you would move on with you buying a house for you later. Do not move in with them.
No.
And do not combine your
Can't do
household. Do not combine your households in order to make this financial goal happen.
Okay.
That is not what I'm suggesting. Okay. But where do they live?
They live down in Arkansas.
Where in Arkansas?
Northwest Arkansas, around Fayetteville.
Yeah. Okay. So you can 4x their living situation for $75,000 to $100,000, can't you?
Yes, sir. I can.
Yeah. I mean, that's a palace compared to where they're living.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. And just pay cash for it. And then all you got to do is make sure that the taxes are paid, the insurance is kept up, and that your mom keeps the utilities paid, which she's probably doing now, right?
Barely. She's got a business that wasn't doing very well before the pandemic, and now it's just stuck a knife in it, so it's going to go out of business. So she has zero income at this point.
Yeah. How old is she?
In her early 50s.
Time for her to have another income.
Yes, sir, and that's something we've talked about, but she fights against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, sitting on your butt is not going to work. She didn't have this as an option. So you can be generous to a point, but we're not going to be an enabler either. So you're a fine young man. That's how I would do it. I would rent something for probably less than $1,000 now that I've learned a little more. And and then some good area, but it's an expensive area.
Yeah.
And so and good people. But I would, rent something inexpensively for a couple of years, pile up some cash, pay cash for it, and then move on with your financial goals. But also a part of that is she needs to be able to maintain it, and she needs to be able to get her career moving again. She is in her early 50s, and this is a requirement of the future of her life. She has a 90-year life expectancy. That's a long time from 52. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We're taking your calls about life and money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Happy New Year, America! It is time for you to get a fresh start on your money, and part of what we're doing at Ramsey to help you do that is we're launching a brand new book today by Rachel Cruz. It has been over a year in the making. Know Yourself, Know Your Money is officially on sale. Another number one. I'm pretty sure we haven't gotten the numbers in yet. We won't for a week, but I'm pretty confident of that. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting. It's weird. It's always weird with book launch day because, again, it's a project you worked on for so long, and now it's out there. And, yeah, my hope is people love it, and it helps them. I mean, it's kind of a new way of looking at the way you handle money, and it really dives into your decision-making, how you're wired, why you do the things you do, and it's really exciting.
I'm looking down the back of it, and I knew we did this, but now that I look at it in this setting, it's pretty impressive. The endorsements on the back of the book are Marcus Buckingham, Dr. Henry Cloud, Candace Cameron Bure. Is that how she pronounces it?
Love her so much.
Yeah, and you loved her back when she was on Full House and you were a little kid, so there you go. Bobby Bones, of course, our buddy here in Nashville, that's a country music icon. Radio DJ. Icon, I guess I should say. Christine Kane, another icon, and the Minimalists. So, and apparently their new Netflix thing may have dropped because I'm getting some comments on social about my appearance on it.
Yeah, I think it's out.
So I think it must have hit. So those guys are great.
The Minimalists.
Yes.
They're awesome.
We love
them. Awesome.
And they obviously love you. It's quite a wonderful quote.
I did their Minimalist Challenge. I write about it in the book, but it's fascinating because it's all about understanding. So one of the tendencies is are you quality or quantity? When we talked about the 7 tendencies earlier in the show. And so I am quantity. Like I would rather have inexpensive things but have 20 pairs of earrings versus like one nice pair of earrings. So that's always been my bent. It's always kind of how I've shopped. And I just realized I just had so much crap. Like I have so much stuff. So their Minimalist Challenges, you take a calendar month and every day, whatever the date is, you use that number to give away something, sell something, throw it out. So if it's the 14th of the month, there's 14 items around your house you got to get and get rid of. And you do it number one is so great. Just minimizing your life and just getting stuff.
That's a lot of stuff by the time you do it.
It's a lot. I mean, I can't remember the number now. I can't do the math that quick. But yeah, I write about it in the book. But it's amazing. So they're awesome, and I totally believe in their message because I mean and again, so much of even this book, there's that level of not letting stuff absolutely consume you, and I think that's a level and a reason people just go into debt. And I think a lot of life problems masquerade themselves as money problems. So you look at a debt problem, and it can either be through consumption of things you can't afford. There can be a contentment issue. There could be a planning issue. You're just not planning your money well, so you're using debt. I mean, all of it. It all fits together in this huge cycle, and I love kind of connecting all the dots.
Know yourself, know your money. So one of the tendencies is quantity versus quality. And as you say in the book, neither one are bad, neither one are good. It's only when you go to the extreme of one of them.
That's right. Yep. So the moderation is ideal, right? You kind of have both.
Like I knew a lady in our neighborhood who would buy coupon stuff, and she had like 7,000 jars of peanut butter in her basement. Not quite, but it felt like it when I was a little kid. Like enough jars of peanut butter to last you into the millennial, right? And I was a little kid, so it was a long time ago. So, I mean.
So that could even be a scarcity mindset, too, of like this fear of, oh gosh. Like
that's almost like a prepper before there were preppers. Yeah. But our couponer that gone crazy. I don't know. But I mean, that's a yeah.
It's almost, that's like.
It is hoarding. It's a borderline. It was real organized, so it wasn't hoarding. But But yeah, she had the organizer lady come before she was born too. But so, but yeah, and one of the spectrums that we gauge ourselves on in the book is experiences versus things.
Yeah. So when
what would you rather spend money on an experience or a thing? Would you rather go out to eat, or would you rather have a nice shirt?
Right, exactly. And where the tension can be in this, it's not as much as the extremes, but relational tension comes up a lot in this. So married couples, when you value spending money on different things or different ways, that's where conflict can come in. The budget.
You are experience off the chain.
Yes.
And Winston is not.
No, he's all things.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember we were first married. It was like I think it really was our first year of marriage. We'd go out to dinner and he'd always get water. And I was like, please just get a glass of wine or get a Coke. Like, I don't care. Just like, let's get a drink and enjoy. And he's like, babe, I'm good. I'm good with my water because I can take my $7 and go buy a 2-liter Coke or a bottle of wine or whatever it is. And for a while, it just always frustrated me a little bit. I was like, man, just like enjoy it. He's like, I'm good. He genuinely was so good. He's like, I'm good. And then as I was like fleshing out this book, thinking about stories, I was like, that's it. Like, that's a prime example of he just doesn't really value experiences. He enjoys it and it's fine. But where I want the whole elaborate thing, he's like, no, I'm good. And yeah, it just makes me laugh. Even our Christmas lists are 100% different. I'm like, I want a spa gift card. I want a Zoom membership with the kids. Like, I want all this experience. And he's like, I want Alexa light bulbs so I can turn on my living room when I can say, Alexa, turn on the living room.
Clap off.
Yeah, like that's Winston. He's like, no. Because for him, it's like, I value, if I work hard and make money.
I didn't even know Alexa light bulbs were a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Lord Jesus,
no, we won't get to the conspiracies of everything. But anyways, so I'm like, yeah, like that is a real thing. So when you budget and sit down as a couple, especially if you're getting out of debt and you're having to make sacrifices, like where you're putting your money, there can be tension. So there's just the warning flag of that's where conversations can come into play.
Saver versus a spender.
Yes, that's a tendency.
One of the tendencies.
And again, extremes, not good. You don't want to be a hoarder on the saver side. You don't want to spend everything you make on that side, but being able to name it. So are you experience or things?
I'm experience.
Your experience, okay. Yeah. Are you quality or quantity? Or your
quantity. Or quality.
Your quality.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't really care,
You buy a lot.
I do.
You're a spender.
I'm a spender. I'm definitely a spender, but it's not
Yeah, I guess
I'm not going to, if I go to buy a whatever, I want the best one.
A pair of boots. You don't need
I don't have no desire to have 6 pairs of boots. I'd rather have one really good pair that I can wear the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Get some good cowboy boots. Yeah, I've got a pair that I've had for 20 years. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
that's it.
We'll probably have them for 20 more. And they look great, so shut up. But yeah.
Sure they do.
Sure they do. They polish up. It's an old-fashioned thing. We used to polish our shoes, not throw them away. But yeah. So, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Rachel Cruz's new book is out on the stand. You can find it anywhere great books are sold. Amazon, DaveRamsey.com, RachelCruz.com, Target,
Barnes & Noble, Books
Barnes
A Million.
& Noble, Walmart. You can find it. It's out there. Good Morning America in the morning. Be watching it around 8:15, 8:20. Rachel will be on talking about the book, so check it out. This is The Dave Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today here on the air. It's book launch day for her new book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. There is a virtual launch party January 6th. That would be tomorrow night for most of you, and January 7th, Thursday night, Wednesday and Thursday night, 2 different virtual launch parties at 7 p.m. Central Time. And that's at rachelcruz.com. You can go live and ask her your money questions and participate in this book launch. If you'd like, we'd love to have you. Again, just go to rachelcruz.com and sign up for the virtual launch party Wednesday or Thursday night this week at 7 p.m. Jesse is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Jesse. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you so much for everything you've taught. We are just having a lot of fun. My husband and I built our dream house 4 years ago. We went into the baby steps, about 15 months ago, and I didn't think we'd get through them as fast as we did, but we're already on step 6.
Wow, great.
So we feel good. So I'm kind of a nerd. I punch the numbers every day, and I've gotten a little addicted to this mortgage payoff calculator.
Good.
And so, I arbitrarily picked a number to save for our 2 kids for college. Mm-hmm. They're currently ages 6 and 8. Mm-hmm. And we're putting $150 for each kid into an ESA. Mm-hmm. But I'm seeing if I don't want to borrow and rearrange these steps because I know that's my pet peeve when people call in. But can I or should I lower that dollar amount in the ESA in order to put more on the house? Or should I just leave that be, just stay calm and just pay it off? We're currently saving cash for a barn. So anything extra right now we're putting aside to build our barn. I'm just wondering your thoughts.
How much money do you guys have saved in the ESAs so far?
Each in the ESA are only about, I'd say, $4,000 for each kid.
Okay.
What's your household income?
About $200,000.
Mm-hmm. And what do you owe on your home?
$217,000.
And what's the barn cost?
We estimated about $60,000, and we have.
Go ahead.
We have $25,000 saved currently.
Okay. So, $200 a month is $2,400 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really move the needle on barns or houses.
Okay.
I mean, you can if you want, but it's not really going to move it that much. What has moved you along so fast is your all's attention to detail and your intentionality. I mean, you have this wonderful
Mm-hmm.
income, and
Mm-hmm.
you're using it to accomplish your financial goals. Way to go. Touchdown. So technically, to answer your question about rearranging the baby steps, we just say baby step 5 is saving for college. We don't say how much because it ranges so much, whether you got little kids, older kids, what your household income is, all that kind of junk as to what you can put in and still accomplish your baby and still be putting something towards baby step 6. But if you wanted to back it down to $50, it's okay. But my point is it's $2,400 a year.
Yeah, like I said, that mortgage calculator on your website is amazing, and you can see what an extra. We're paying $800 extra a month on our mortgage currently,
and saving for a barn.
And saving for a barn, yes.
Yeah. So when you get the barn finished,
so
you're estimating if you stay on your current path, the barn will be done and the house will be paid for when?
2000 in about 5 years. 5 years.
5 years, yeah. That's what I was going to guess. Okay, so doing this changes it 4 months.
Okay.
I made that up, but I'm not far off. It might be 5 months. It might be 3 months. But
the Dave calculator.
It's $2,400. I mean, over 5 years. So that's $10,000.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not. It's not going to move the needle on. It's not going to change. If it changed your payoff on your home by 5 years or 3 years or something like that, yeah, maybe. But when it changes it by a month or 2 months or 3 months, I wouldn't do it. I mean,
Jesse, what's your husband? What's he saying? Is he on board too, or is he kind of like, we can kind of chill a little bit?
Oh yeah, no. He started listening to Dave in a AM radio van when he was a landscaper when we started dating. So he's so chill, and he just says, the growth that we'll gain in the ESA is better than the low interest on the mortgage. Get the growth on the ESA account and keep it as it is.
Keep it going, yeah.
So the technical baby step answer is you can do either.
Okay.
I probably would stay with your current plan because I don't think it moves the needle that much to change it. And I think you'll be glad you put money into the ESA. I'm really not even worried about the growth on the ESA versus a mortgage amount. That that would lend you to say, I'm going to load the ESA up. I'm going to put even more in. But right now you're touching the base, which is what you want to do on baby step 5. You want to do something towards kids' college, and then you moved on to do the other stuff. So
yeah, and she's an example of the nerd, not quite on the extreme, because I don't think you're unhealthy by any means in that sense, but she's running numbers, she's calculating. It's almost like you want to be gazelle intense through these baby steps, and you're not supposed to. You're supposed to back off. So the fact you guys are saving for a barn, I think is awesome. Like, yeah, you can just take a breath, even though you're crunching the numbers and you're seeing the difference of what you're paying just in interest, even for 2 years of a home having a mortgage versus not. I think all that's awesome that you're feeling it.
What a free spirit doesn't understand is that when nerds like Jesse and me are running these numbers, that's actually fun for us.
Well, she said I had a lot of fun calculating
we're not fretting. It's not bothering us. This is like what we do instead of watching Netflix. We would rather run numbers on something. It's just more fun than watching an Oprah rerun. So we actually get joy out of this. I know it's hard for people to grasp that don't think that way, but all the nerds are out there going, yes, spreadsheets rule, yes. And so, but that's, again, if you turn it all the way over to where it becomes an obsession, then you're wrong. And she didn't.
No, she didn't. That's why I said but I'm saying she's a perfect example of a nerd.
Yeah.
Because she's loving it.
And her husband's just kind of like, hey, we got this.
Yes.
Yeah. And so very, very intentional. Good job, Jesse. You guys have done a wonderful job with your money. So proud of you.
Yes, I don't think there's Oprah
reruns
anymore.
Oh, well, probably is somewhere. Ben is in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Well, I have a bit of a morality question for you. So my wife and I are trying to pay off our debt. So I used to be driving like a really cheap junker car. And now you always say that like Mama gets the good car, right? And we actually moved over New Year's, like Christmas, New Year's. Now she's 5 minutes away from her work. And I have about a 40-minute commute. So I've been driving like our good car, and she's been driving the junker. It doesn't quite feel right to me that it's that way, but I'm worried about the reliability of the junker, obviously.
Well, I don't know what the law is in Canada, but in the United States, it's illegal for you to drive the good car. I'm kidding. It's federal law. Mama gets the good car.
Does she care, Ben? Is she good? Or does she want the nice car?
No, like she doesn't care. This is just something I have a problem with.
You have like a conviction that like, oh, you feel bad that you're driving the nice car and your wife's not. I think you're okay. Because you guys are only going to be in baby step 2 for how much longer?
About 10 months.
Yeah. Why don't you switch every other week?
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
I don't know. I just made that up. I have no idea. But I mean, it has to do with how everybody feels about it, and more than it does the reality. Obviously, if the stupid car breaks, one of you's got a problem, and Canada is a wee bit cold this time of year. So, you don't want her stuck out in the cold for sure. I mean, that literally could be dangerous, depending on your situation. So,
but she's 5 minutes from work.
I know it still could be dangerous.
No,
in
yeah,
Canada.
absolutely.
But I don't want to walk 4 minutes in that stuff. But you can switch out, or as long as the thing is not giving you any trouble, you can drive it. It's a joke, but it's about marriage relationships and understanding sacrifice all the way through this thing. So you're not an evil guy either way, Ben. It's a joke, but everybody gets the joke because Mama gets the good car has a sense of gallantry to it, civility to it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're financially conscious, you know that healthcare expenses can take a big bite out of your budget. Christian Healthcare Ministries, or CHM, is here to help trim those expenses and make sure your family is cared for. CHM is not health insurance, but it is Christians helping other Christians by sharing each other's medical bills.
Most people have the means to pay for basic doctor services, but when it comes to something on a much larger scale, say several $1,000s for surgery or a hospitalization, folks are worried they'll be left to try and find a way to pay for that themselves.
Not too long ago, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and they really came through. So far, we've had over $180,000 worth of bills and got close to 75% in discounts. CHM shared the rest of the expenses.
To see if CHM is right for you and your budget, check out chministries.org/budget.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, launching a new book today. Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Discover why you handle money the way you do and what to do about it is my co-host today. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Marilee in Nevada. I just paid off my student loans back in June. I just finished the legacy journey through Ramsey Plus and would love to begin a giving category in my monthly budget in baby step 3. I already give 10% of my income as a tithe to my local church, but I am wondering how to create something a little more. How do I adjust the numbers? Is there a recommendation on how to start giving past your tithe? Do you have any recommendations on which organizations to get started with, or even how to begin giving? I want to do my research before I give money away, if that makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I mean, we always recommend 10% no matter where you are in the baby steps. And the whole process of the baby steps is to give a little until you can give a lot. And obviously that a lot, huge exclamation point, is on baby step 7. Once you have your house paid for, you have no debt, kids' college is taken care of, you're funding retirement, then you're able to give a ton of your income because you have a lot of all your income coming in because you have no debt. So if you do still want to start giving a little bit more and you're on baby step 3, I think that's great. You can. I would up it maybe just a few percentage points right now. I really want that emergency fund for you because once you have that stability, then you're going to be able to give beyond that 10% for sure. So I would recommend just a few percentage points if you want to right now. A lot of organizations, especially if they're 501c3s, they have to publish their budgets on their website. They have to make that public. So you can go in and look to see how much of the money coming into the organization is going to fees or administration or to the actual mission of what they're doing. You can look at all of that, get a feel, talk about it. I mean, we take giving pretty seriously here at Ramsey. What we talk about is how much you spend on your retirement account and investments is the time you need to spend on what you're giving. I mean, you as a believer, you have been given resources, and to put it back out to help people, you want to make sure you're doing it really efficiently. So I think you researching organizations is smart. What to get started with? I mean, anything you're passionate about. That's, I think, one of the best things about our world today is through the internet, social media, there are so many organizations out there. Anything you love and have a heart for, whether it's foster care or rescuing people out of human trafficking, digging wells for fresh water in Africa, helping the homeless community. I mean, like anything that you have a heart for, there's probably an organization that helps with that mission. So just I would start there of what you love.
Yeah. We have chosen to give substantially to a few with the Ramsey Family Foundation, not to give $500 to a bazillion different people and spread it out thin. Instead, we'd rather make an impact on a handful. And so if I were in your situation, merely just getting started, I would just pick one for now. There's always more valid needs and valid ministries filling those needs than there is money that you have anyway. There's always more. And so you cannot be everywhere, and don't try to be everywhere. Don't dilute, and don't give $1 to 500 organizations. Give $500 to one, or whatever it is. You're much better off to do that. Your life's much simpler. You won't get as many emails. You won't get invited to as many dinners. You get charity fatigue. You do. You get philanthropy fatigue. And so you're not going to get there with all that. Just keep it real clean and real simple and do some research like you're saying you're going to do. And the way we pick the ministries that we support, we usually know something about them or their 1 degree of separation. Personally, one of the Ramseys do, and or one of the Ramseys has a passion for that category. And that's how they end up in the, it is a very personal thing with Ramsey Family Foundation. This is how we do it with our giving as a family. And so that's how we would recommend you do it. And in your case, once you finish baby step 3, beyond the tithe, if you want to just put a flat dollar amount to start and go, okay, I'm going to do $500 more a month or whatever, just make up a number. I don't care what it is. Once you get further along, I'd recommend a percentage. In addition to the 10% on your tithe, I would give another X% to other things. And that's how we do it at our house. And then no matter what your income becomes over the years, you've still got your formula. Yeah, and you'll always be, as you make more, you'll always be giving more automatically, and you don't have to stop and rethink and all that kind of stuff. You can choose to increase your percentage if you wanted to later on, but that's not always necessary either. Don is with us in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, Don, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, man. How can we help?
Question about where to put my retirement funds. So I'm 11 payments away. My wife and I are 11 payments away from being out of our inverted 3B. And then we will have, we'll be right into the retirement section of it. So if I know your order of retirement typically, but if I max out my Roth 401k at work, she's a contract bookkeeper, so she can do a Roth 401k set up for her. Mm-hmm. And then we could do Roth IRA, IRAs.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
But I have an option at work to do a HSA. So I'm wondering if I should do an HSA, because that's kind of like double tax incentivized. I don't pay taxes going in or coming out. I know I don't get the growth that I would, but just trying to figure out how to best place that last a little bit.
The HSA, if you use it for medical, is a double because you take the tax deduction. It's not really, because you take the tax deduction and then you don't pay taxes on it as you use it. And so it's really just once. And you can get the growth on it. I check out a company called Health Equity. That's who we have our HSA savings with, and they have mutual fund options. I have never used my HSA for health issues, knock on wood. Consequently, I've got a couple $100,000 in it because I just load it up every year. It's yet one more way I can max out things. And if once your home's paid for, you max out everything. So you take advantage of everything at your fingertips, and that would be both Roths, both 401k Roths, and the HSA. But you get a tax deduction when you go into the HSA, and you don't pay taxes on it when it comes out. So that is like tax-free use of that money if you use it for health. And so
would you use that before the Roth IRA?
No, I would use the Roth first because it's growth. It's tax-free growth, regardless of what you use it for.
Okay. That's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for the call. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Carrie is in Dallas, Texas. Hi, Carrie. Happy New Year.
Hey, Dave. Happy New Year to you, too, and thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so your problem child. I have lots of credit card debt to the tune of $70,000 in credit card debt. And yeah. And I, purchased my first home 4 years ago almost, and lots of things went wrong with it, but that wasn't all the debt. And I was given advice from a friend a year ago to just stop paying the credit card debt. They were all 0%, and all the interest rates started. I knew they were about to skyrocket, and it was going to get to the point when I couldn't even make minimum payments anymore. And so they just said, quit paying, just stop paying. And I did try to call several of them, and they weren't willing to negotiate anything with me. They didn't want to talk to me because I was current on everything.
Yeah, of course.
And I had always been.
Of course.
So now they're all coming full circle.
All right, I'll tell you what. Hold on. When we come back from this break, we'll get the rest of your story and see if we can help you. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We're talking with Carrie in Dallas, Texas. She ran up $70,000 in credit card debt as the interest rates went from zero to full-blown, as they always do. She was unable to make the payments. Her friend suggested she stop. And that's about how far we got in the conversation. What else is going on, Miss Carrie?
Yes, sir. Well, I started working your program last month. I reached out, and a financial advisor found me, and we've already met. She's got me on a budget. I've done plastic surgery. I've done all her homework. We're meeting Friday, as a matter of fact, again.
Great.
For the new update. Things are actually going great.
I was going to say, you
Believe it or
actually,
not.
while you're out of control, you're starting to feel in control.
I'm more in control. I mean, it's the first time I've ever been on a budget before.
Yeah.
I checked out every dollar, but I think with all this default debt, I felt that you need a budget, or YNAB.com was better for me.
I don't.
Because of all this unknown. I don't know. So
you need to get on every dollar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be much better. You just need to run 2 debt snowballs is all.
Okay, so I've got all my default debt. I just settled and paid 2 of them. I knocked 2 of the cards off myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got summons for 2 others through the same collection agency or law firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get a lawyer for the first one and could kick myself because I realized I could do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So he settled for me on the first one, and then I guess it gave me the template to know how to do it. So that's what I paid for. But I settled the second one. My question is, on the debt snowball with those, they're going to be coming at me, the different amount are coming at me. And once it goes, I get a summons, I've got to settle those out.
No, you don't.
So I don't.
No.
Okay.
They can sue you, but but in Texas they really can't do anything.
Well, I thought they could get control of my bank account, which would be
not in Texas.
Not in Texas. I thought they can't
garnish your wages.
My wages.
Well, you don't need to give them your bank account information.
Right. Well, I figured I could just switch bank accounts if that were the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
We're not going to let them create the emergency. We're going to let you create it. So all of this entire $70,000 is in default.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what other debts do you have?
I only have my my home loan, which I owe $178 on that.
You current?
I have a car. I am current. I'm current on everything else.
Okay.
The car, I owe $7,000.
Perfect.
And
what's your income?
I still owe $12,000. My income is $78,000.
Okay.
And I'm also working. I've been doing Uber Eats on the side, delivering, and I was able to pull in $500 last week. So
way to go.
That's awesome.
I'm planning to just keep attacking that as well.
You're inspiring. I mean, you're inspiring. You made a huge mess, and then when you decide to do something about it, you got a template from the lawyer, you met with a financial advisor, you're working your plan, you picked up an extra job.
Made a budget.
You made a budget. You're doing everything. You are really on fire. I'm so proud of you.
For what I do. So I am, and I just want to keep this fire and take care.
So as you get little summons, if you want to stop and settle those, that's fine. But if you get one that's a huge one, just let it sit.
There's one coming up. It's like 8,000. It's 8,200, and I told them, I spoke with them on the phone, and she wasn't willing to talk to me without. She wanted me to make a good faith payment. I said, we're not doing that today. I just need to know what you would be willing to settle for, so I can, plan for that and be able to give that to you in a month or two. And she goes, I can't do anything with you right now.
That's good. Then hang up.
And so I said,
listen,
I'll
go
just
ahead and slam the phone down just for the satisfaction. Just for the satisfaction. The woman, if she's going to act like she's a test pilot for a broom factory, treat her that way.
Okay.
That was her decision, not yours. Yeah, it's not, that's all a technique. That's called intimidation. And don't let them do that to you. You got a plan. You're on fire. You got a system. And so what you're going to do, here's what's going to happen, okay? You have 3 different summons and or collectors coming at you, and you have $2,000 sitting there. This is in the future. Right. This is in the future. What you're going to do is you're going to mess with every one of them. You're going to go, I got $2,000. Who wants it first? If you take it, you will get that as a settlement on $8,000. That's behind door number 1. If you don't, then we're going to go to door number 2. And whichever one of you calls me back first, that's who's getting this money. I'll get back to the rest of you later when I got some money. And this is a game show, baby, and just have some fun with it, right? And then you know how to settle it. Right. You've got the template to do that. Get it in writing and do not allow them electronic access to your checking account. Right. That way they don't know where the flip it is.
Right.
And they don't clean you out on the rest of your plan.
That I did settle on, this law firm, I did the 2 that I settled on. I do not need to pay online or anything like that, or because it is in a settlement, am I safe to just go online and pay them? Or do I need to do the cashier's check every time? What do you think?
If online means they have your bank account information, do not do that.
Yeah, I would think they would.
Do not do that.
Don't do it. Okay.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to ask.
Because once they have that, if they're unscrupulous, and some of them are, they can turn around and clean out your bank account.
Okay.
So you're going to get around to working with everybody. We're not trying to ditch them. We're not trying to be a deadbeat. We're just not going to be abused, and we're going to play them against each other until we get through this.
So I need to start with my default debt, Snowball, smallest to largest on that. I do have 3 cards that are current.
I'd knock them out if you can.
That are smaller amount.
I'd knock them out if you can.
Knock those first?
Yeah, go ahead and knock them out.
Okay.
And again.
That's what I thought, but my advisor was telling me different. And
normally what we tell you, what your advisor was trained to do, and normally what we tell you is run 2 debt snowballs. Run your current stuff and pay it off first, and let all the stuff that's in default just sit. And once you've gotten rid of the car payment and the 3 active credit cards, everything but your house, then that gives you more cash flow to deal with the stuff that's in default. That's our normal routine. You got a few of them coming at you right now, and so if you want to kind of dodge around a little bit, head fake, and jump in and out of that, and jump over and knock out one of those summons, that's okay. There's not a bad thing here.
Okay.
What I don't want you to do is I don't want them threatening you or giving you a hard time or bossing you around to become the priority. Instead, you set your priorities. You have power over money for the first time in your life, Carrie. Use it.
Right.
You make the decisions.
Don't worry about them taking me to court then, because sometimes you feel pressure to settle before court.
We can settle after court just as good. Not worried about it.
Okay, but I thought that they would do the full amount plus court costs.
Nope. Well, they will, but we're also going to negotiate that down to 10 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
And they're going to be happy to get it.
Junk debt.
It is junk debt.
These aren't junk debt.
It is junk debt. It's credit card that's in default. It's called junk debt.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Because they all say they're representing the card itself. It's just
I don't give a crap.
The third-party stuff.
They either own it or they don't, but when they get ready to sell it, they're going to sell it for a nickel on the dollar.
Right.
And so that's what it's worth to them. It's junk debt.
Okay.
It's almost a year since they've been paid. They have their probabilities. They know their probability is almost zero. It's 5% chance they're going to get paid. And the fact that you're working with them gets them all excited. You actually have a phone number that works. Everybody else in their database doesn't. I mean, that's who they're dealing with. And so you're like a unicorn for them. They're so happy to talk to somebody to abuse you. So
Carrie's great. Carrie,
you're doing great. Listen, if
awesome.
you're not in Ramsey Plus, I'm going to put you in it. Hold on, I'm going to have Kelly pick up and make sure you're tied into that, because you are doing everything right to straighten out your life. You are doing a full reset, which is what we're doing next Tuesday night, guys. You don't want to miss out on that. It is a free live stream event next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Text the word reset to Dave Ramsey, or text it to 33789. Reset to 33789 and join the new upcoming live stream next Tuesday. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. My co-host today on the air, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and my daughter, Rachel Cruz. It is book launch day at Ramsey, which means we are in high gear all over this building. Lots of media hits, lots of things happening, and Rachel's doing all of them. The new book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, hit the shelves today. A labor of love for over a year it takes to put one of these things together and get it out. Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Discover why you handle money the way you do and what to do about it. And Rachel, your 7 money tendencies have been one of the things that people get their hands around first in the book. It's not the only thing that you teach about knowing yourself to know your money, but the 7 tendencies are something that people gravitate to immediately. That and how you grew up.
I was going to say the childhood money classrooms, the tendencies, and even the fears, the money fears, is something people relate to a lot. Yeah, the tendencies are fun just because there's not a right or wrong. It's just understanding and unpacking, okay, here's where I tend to lean when it comes to my money. And it just gives you a level of awareness and to say, okay, I can now figure out when I'm being unhealthy in that area, when I'm okay and functioning well. It gives you kind of this guidepost. And another level of this, which I love, is you start to understand other people in your life, your spouse, your parents, your grown kids, your friends. It gives you a level of empathy to say, okay, they're different than me when it comes to money. Not right or wrong necessarily in these tendencies, but they're different. And here's their view. They're looking at money a little differently than I am.
Okay. And so the 7, right quick, rattle them off.
It's like the test. Okay. Nerd versus free spirit, spender versus saver, experience versus things, quality over quantity, or versus, I shouldn't say over, abundance versus scarcity, safety versus status, which is why you want money. Is it safety or status? And the 7th is on giving. So it's more calculated or emotional giver, which one you are.
Okay.
So those are big. And then the childhood classrooms, I think that those are really fun. There's 4 of them of understanding how you grew up with money. So money was communicated in 2 ways. In a household, it's communicated verbally and it's communicated emotionally. So the first money classroom is the anxious money classroom. And this is where it's verbally closed and emotionally stressed.
You can feel in the air, but it's not talked about.
That's right. So you probably felt tension at the end of the month when bills were paid, but you didn't know why, but tension around money. Classroom number 2 is the unstable money classroom. So this is where it's verbally open, but emotionally stressed. So if you grew up in this classroom, you heard fights about money. Your parents may have fought with extended family members about money. They may have had the same money fight over and over and over again. But man, it was loud and you knew it was happening. Classroom number 3 is the unaware money classroom. So this is where it's verbally closed, but emotionally calm. So never talked about, but it wasn't an issue. And so your head was probably in the sand. People that grew up in this classroom really didn't even think about money until they were out on their own and they realized, oh, wow, I have to learn a lot and I have a little bit of catching up to do. And then that classroom number 4, the last one, is the Healthiest money classroom. And it's where it's verbally open and emotionally calm. So you could have $10 in this classroom. You could have 10 million. But it's the matter that it is being controlled. There's a plan in place. It's agreed upon if you had parents that were still together. And it was calm. But it was also talked about. Money was talked about and communicated. So that's the 4th money classroom that I really want to push the reader to move currently to with their family now. But looking back to your own childhood to say, okay, here's how I grew up, because every single one of them come with some red flags of, okay, this is an area I'm probably gonna have to overcome because of my childhood classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and most people don't grow up in the 4th one.
No, most don't. No, I was on a show yesterday and they had their whole staff speaking in, which was so fun on the YouTube show. And the host grew up in classroom 2. Her husband grew up in classroom 1. We had one of each of them, which was so interesting. One of her producers was classroom 3. And actually one of the girls was classroom 4. Mm-hmm. And her and I both, because I would say I grew up there, somewhat classroom 2, but I don't remember that because you said there was a lot of stress, but I was born the year of the bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. But really, even that classroom 4, just because your parents are smart with money it's not a gene. You're not automatically going to be smart with money. You have to work at it too. And it's that classic Larry Burkett line that you spend the first 5 to 7 years of your marriage trying to obtain the same standard of living as your parents, but it took your parents 30 years to get there. So there can be a little bit of a level of entitlement in that classroom 4 if you're not careful. So when you're in classroom 4, you still have to be safeguarding that, okay, I still have to be making decisions on my own. I still have to be working hard, and it's up to me and my hard work to stay in that classroom 4.
Yeah, nobody's going to do it for you.
No.
You're what's known as a grown-up now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's always interesting to think about how you grew up and how it affects you. And what's fascinating too is talking to people either mirror what their parents did unintentionally, or they have a visceral response and they do the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. They do the complete opposite. So it's good just to be aware.
And that's true with parenting style. That's true with a lot of things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The book is Know Yourself, Know Your Money by #1 best-selling author Rachel Cruz. This will be her 3rd bestseller. Discover why you handle money the way you do and what to do about it. Know Yourself, Know Your Money. It is on bookstore shelves now. It is available. We are doing a virtual book tour, a virtual launch. Rachel's doing 100 and some odd media appearances in about a 4-day period of time, including Good Morning America in the morning. Be sure you tune that in at about 8:20. She'll be on. We're doing a virtual launch party for the book. You can join Rachel January the 6th, that's Wednesday, and January the 7th, that's Thursday, both at 7 p.m. at rachelcruz.com live. Just go to rachelcruz.com. There'll be a live feed there, and you can ask her your money questions. So join her. You can sign up for the for the launch party or be there January the 6th or 7th at 7 p.m. Jump in, rachelcruz.com. Make it part of your lineup. We are also working to help you get started on your new year this year. And after 2020, everybody needs a reset. We need to relook. We need to reset emotionally, reset financially, reset everything. And if you want to reset, we're doing it this coming Tuesday night. And so lots of things going on. All of this that we've mentioned so far is free. So be sure you check it out. We're doing a reset event live from Oklahoma City. Rachel Cruz, Chris Hogan, me, and Pastor Craig Groeschel will be doing it from his church at lifechurch.tv. Rachel will be speaking on Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Pastor Craig on discipline. Chris Hogan and I are going to walk you through the whole reset process and the steps to take, exactly what to do. This is a 100% free live stream. It is next Tuesday night, January the 12th at 7 p.m. This coming Tuesday night, January the 12th at 7 p.m. And you just go to Dave Rants. You can to register for the free live stream. You do need to register, or it's not going to happen for you. Text the word reset to 33789. That's 33789. And for those of you in Oklahoma City, we have a few seats, just a handful. They're only $20. They may be gone by now. But of course it's limited because of distancing and all those kinds of things to meet the guidelines and stuff. So go to daveramsey.com/events and see if there's any seats available. If you're in the Oklahoma City area, we'd love to have you come out Tuesday, January the 12th for this reset live stream with four people who are well known for speaking on these subjects. I guess that's the best way to say it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Josh is with us. Josh is in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Hi, Josh. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I have a question for you guys. My wife and I finally finished off, we're finishing off this Friday for baby step 2.
Yay!
And as we're moving on,
how long did that take?
Thanks. 26 months.
All right. Good for you.
Thanks. So we are moving in, and we're going to be doing our baby step 3, which is saving, our 3 months for our emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
And we also are homeowners. At the time, it wasn't a very wise decision to purchase a house because we went with a 3% conventional for a 30-year with a rate of 4.125%. We're going to get to a place where we want to refinance, and with rates being what they are, around 2.2 to 2.9% in our area.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know if it would be best to go through getting the fully funded 3 months saved first.
Yes.
And then save up separately.
Yeah, because you don't have enough equity to roll your closing costs into your refinance, do you?
I'd say no.
If you don't, and I don't think you do probably, because you didn't put enough down. So I would imagine you can't. If you can roll it in, you can do it whenever you want. But if you got to cash flow your closing costs, you got to do that after your emergency fund is done.
Okay. So treat that more like a 3B.
It would just be something you purchase while you're doing 4, 5, and 6. Like if you bought a couch, or you upgraded a car, or you did something else. In this case, it's closing costs on a loan.
Okay.
And let me tell you how I did that from a critical thinking standpoint, okay?
Okay.
If it's not an emergency, it doesn't go before the emergency fund.
Yeah.
That's how I put it after the emergency fund. This is a good idea, but it's not an emergency.
Okay, so even if rates fluctuate a little bit, which I'm sure they will, still better than the 4.125.
Exactly.
But definitely wait till after we're done.
The number of times rates move more than 1% in a 4 or 5 month period of time is almost zero.
Okay.
They'll move an eighth, a quarter, something like that, one direction or another, but they just really don't move that much, that dramatically, and you're going to be done with that baby step 3 pretty quick. Well done, sir.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, but you would say is still go ahead, start baby step 4 though, like start funding retirement.
Yeah, I'm okay if you did it as a baby step 3B even.
Yeah.
Treat it like a down payment thing if you want to, but it's not an emergency.
Right.
Because see, let's say you took $5,000 and that's the only $5,000 you had, and you did a refi. And then the transmission goes out on your car and you lose your job and there's a pandemic.
Right.
You're screwed. And so that's how you know that it would have been a bad idea.
That's right.
You run it through a stress test.
Yes.
A hypothetical stress test in your mind, and then you can tell, oh, I should have done the emergency fund first. It's more important than saving a couple points or a quarter of a point on my interest rate by letting it ride a little bit.
And that's the interesting thing about money and talking about it in this way, because it sometimes trumps math, right? Like the idea of like, well, interest rates and they could fluctuate. And it's not a math problem.
No, it's not.
It's safeguarding and continuing to put that strong financial foundation under you.
Yeah. And you know, in that same light, baby steps 1, 2, and 3 are you defy everything. You put math aside. You use the debt snowball. You stop your 401k even with a match. You you defy all the mathematics.
You put 3 to 6 months of expenses not in the market.
Because your house is on fire.
Yeah.
You're in debt and you have no money. You are an accident looking for a place to happen. You are normal in America, and normal sucks. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Don't live that way. So 1 through 3 is the house is on fire. So we don't sit and discuss theory when the house is on fire. You get your butt out of the house, and you get yourself out of debt, and you get that emergency fund in place.
Yeah.
Then when you break through baby step 3, that's when you cannot be gazelle intense anymore. And instead of intense, you're intentional, and you start saying, okay, now we got to start talking about retirement. 4, we got to start talking about kids' college. 5, we got to start talking about paying off the house. 6, we got to upgrade this couch. This spring is sticking me in my butt every time I sit down here. We got to get a car. It's awful. This beater we've been driving while we were getting out of debt is horrible. It's time to get a car that doesn't have a name, and so on, right? And so you start moving up in a few things here or there, but you're careful and you're intentional, but you don't have to live on beans and rice and beans. Oh, by the way, that's when you would go on vacation, is only after baby step 3. And that's when you'd go out to eat, is only after baby step 3. You shouldn't be going out to eat. I know people think I've lost my dadgum mind, but let me tell you what. When you have a pandemic hit and you have no freaking money because you've been in restaurants, you look like a freaking fool because you are. You shouldn't have been going out to eat. You spent all your dadgum money in a restaurant.
Yep.
And I don't mind going out to eat. I love going out to eat. You love going out to eat. The Ramseys love to eat. We are social animals. But I'm getting an email to commercial break from my wife about going out to eat with another couple. I mean, this is normal. But the problem is when you're broke, it's foolish because it is not economics that causes you to eat out. 90% of what you spend at a stinking restaurant is not the food. You could have bought all that food for 10 or 15% at the store and gone home and cooked it.
Oh, and then made 4 other meals after that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The cooking, yes.
A whole bunch, yeah. And then got leftovers in the whole bed. God help me for Sharon Ramsey. But with her leftovers. Oh, she's still, after all these years. But like we can't afford food.
Sends us home with food. I'm like, Mom, those green beans
are
3 days old.
I live like no one else now. I want to eat like no one else. Stop it. But so yeah, but the point is that you need to treat the first 3 like you're in an emergency, like it's on fire. And then after that, you're intentional, which means you're thoughtful. You're thinking about, okay, if I do that, I won't be able to do this. And what's more important? Would I rather do my kids' college than that couch or whatever? We got to get a couch. This is ridiculous. Family's not been on vacation in 5 years. We're going to spend a reasonable amount and go on and do a decent little vacation of some kind if you could find a state that's open. And whatever.
Right. Yes.
You can start, you don't relax to the point that you go back to stupid land, but you relax to the point that you can enjoy a few of the creature comforts again when you're in 4, 5, and 6.
Yep. But that idea, though, that it's so behavior-based, especially baby steps 1 through 3. It's not the math thing like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's your behavior and getting ahead and what ends up happening when you actually get traction for the first time in your life.
And by the way, it's not just a Ramsey thing. It's not something Dave Ramsey or the Ramsey organization came up with. It's a data thing. I mean, when we study millionaires, the way they became millionaires was not math. It was managing behavior. None of them were, virtually none of them, 90-something% of them were not uber sophisticated, had figured out the idea of how to get rich at Bitcoin or how to get rich of beat the card game in Vegas, or they weren't day traders, or they didn't spend their whole lives with their nose in a mutual fund book. They didn't do any of that. They just loaded up their 401k, paid off their house. And they really were not very sophisticated. A lot of them weren't that super efficient with their math, with the math on the investing. They didn't spend a whole bunch of time studying it. Sometimes they had an investment advisor, sometimes they didn't. But they didn't sit and wring their hands over the 12B1 fees in a mutual fund. And they didn't say no load versus load, the great comparison. They didn't go through all that crap. They just put money away.
Did it, yes.
Just did it. While everybody else is talking about their freaking theories and they're broke, these guys go and do it. It's a do it thing. It's a behavior thing. And that is what makes people wealthy and what gets you away from the wolf's door in stuff like a pandemic hits.
Yeah, and it's the long game. There's no short-term fix.
No, yeah, Beverly Sills said it. No
Yep.
shortcut to any place worth going. No shortcut.
That's a great quote.
It is a good quote. No shortcut to any place that's worth
It is.
going.
Takes the time, but it's worth it.
Yeah. It's, there's not a pill to make you lose weight, and there's not a pill to get you out of debt. There's not a microwave. You just got to freaking do it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Joshua and Julia are with us. Hey guys, welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
You're the first in-person debt-free Scream of the Year.
Awesome.
Well done. I love it. How much have you paid off?
$347,000 in 6.5 years, roughly.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
Of $155,000 to $250,000.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a nurse anesthetist.
I stay at home with kids.
Okay, great. And I'm going to guess with the length of time and the amount of money you paid off your house.
We sure did.
You got it.
I'm looking at weird people.
I've been waiting so long to hear you say that.
Weird people are in front of me.
That's right.
So what's this house worth?
Right around $350,000.
Okay. And it's yours.
It's all
ours.
By God.
It's amazing.
I love it. Way to go, you guys.
I love mowing the grass.
Every blade is ours.
Because it's yours. That's how that works.
That's right.
I love it. I'm so proud of y'all. How old are you?
I'm 35.
33.
And you have a paid-for house.
Yes, sir.
You are officially weird.
Yep.
Man, how
Our
many
kids like to
35-year-old
tell us.
friends do you have with a paid-for house?
A lot of them told us to
None.
not do it. Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
That's crazy, guys. Okay, so what made you do this? Like, I understand the getting out of debt, but it's like we're gonna hit the gear and pay off the house.
Right. So we're both FBU babies. I grew up on the envelope system, and Josh did his 7th grade algebra homework from the back of an FBU classroom. So it was a no-brainer, obviously, to pay off the student loans as soon as he graduated from anesthesia school. And we took a little bit of a break, started a family, and then it came to where we needed to decide, do we put an extra sum of money toward retirement or do we pay off the house? And of course, we got a lot of people saying, why would you pay off your house? Don't pay off your house. At that time, we were leading an FPU course, and through that, we became more accountable to the Dave Ramsey plan, and we became more of a team. Budget meetings were more of a joy than a burden or a dread. And we really...
They were always exciting to me, but not so much for her.
Nerd, free spirit. Let's just establish it.
I feel you.
And so with leading that class, we decided, all right, we're going to pay off the house. But even at that point, I was a supporter, but I wasn't an equal partner in the process. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't really gung-ho about it until about February of 2019 when we had received a late advent calendar from our friends in Germany. And we're all sitting in the living room floor pouring over these German chocolates and goodies when Josh said, "How would you guys like to take a trip to Germany?" Which, of course, the response was...
I bribed them.
I needed a bribe. The response was, yeah, we want to go to Germany. And he said, all right, when we pay off the house, we'll go to Germany. Well, so at that point, we became full partners in this. And
so the interesting part, though, is when God came into it. The very next month, we had decided, obviously, to pay off the house. But whenever I was starting to do the numbers, like I always do, I realized that was going to be a lot of money to pay off $198,000 in about. Well, it was January 2021 was the plan.
We're going to do it by January 2021.
Yeah,
that was the date we decided.
And at that time, that February of 2019, we had $198,000 left in the house. And I was like, this is outrageous. How in the world are we going to do this? So I started talking to God, and I said, God, if you don't mind, just give us more work. Not more money, more work. And that very next month in March, I had 5 coworkers that put in their notice to leave.
Oh, my gosh.
And I sat down with her, and I said, I'm not sure if God sent them out of my work, but it is an opportunity for me to get all the overtime I could. And so I amped every vacation I had for the last 2 years, every post-call day, which I have most of them off. I worked all of them. Many Saturdays I worked. And so I have not been part of Jeremiah's life pretty much. And so for that whole 18 months, it was gung-ho.
Yeah.
And so God provided that opportunity for us, and we got it done in time.
Wow.
Actually 4 months early, I guess.
Wow.
And meanwhile, we're learning German so that we can keep him accountable to his part of the plan, his bribe.
I love it.
Yeah, the kids
so
are really...
that was a pretty heavy sacrifice, all those hours.
It was.
Yeah.
But now you're 35 years old with a paid-for home. Was it worth it?
I would never go back.
Absolutely. The hardest part was just... Parenting is hard enough alone, or in and of itself, but parenting alone is even harder, and it felt like that some nights when I was the only one taking them in bed.
Most of my hours were 16 to 24-hour shifts. I mean, I'm working call and then getting up the next morning and working 10, 12, 16 hours. So it wasn't just like Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. It was constant.
But because we paid off our house, we were able to say yes to an opportunity that we would have just not even batted our eyes at.
So September or August, somewhere around there, when I got the money, because I was waiting for it, when the money came into the checking account to be able to pay the house off, that morning when it came in, I got a call an hour later from my buddy who went to anesthesia school with me, asking me if I would like to interview for a job about 45 minutes away from my job now. I accepted the job pretty much a week later, and I'm now home with my family so much more. And I didn't really sacrifice my pay at all. I actually got a bit of a pay raise.
Wow.
So,
without the hours?
Without the hours.
Without the hours.
So,
wow.
So
it's like a breakthrough.
I actually feel like it was God saying, okay, you asked for the time of work, and now I'm going to close it out with another huge gift.
Wow.
And so we are extremely grateful to be here today.
Here's the cupcake. Here's some icing.
Yeah.
I like it.
He was faithful for sure.
Amen. That's powerful, dude. And, you know, the way we know that's God, for those of you that don't know anything about God, is the timing is wacky.
Yeah.
There's no other way to explain it. I mean, if that just generally happened in the middle of this, then you could blame it on coincidence or something like that, if you believed in that kind of stuff. But this is like, I need some more work. Okay, here's some work.
Yeah, and
and I just finished paying off the house. Oh, here's the same amount of money for less work.
And COVID never did slow us down.
Yeah.
We picked up more hours during that time. So it was
a
wonderful.
blessing. Oh, you guys, that's incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. People stand on the stage that are all ranges of age, but seeing young people without a mortgage payment, like you guys, like that's insane. Absolutely insane. And it was a short-term sacrifice, right? Like we don't always say to go gazelle intense through those baby steps, but you chose to, which is great. In that short amount, that 18 months, which girl, 3 kids, I can't even. I know, I have it. I like the same as you. I'm like, bath time's the worst. Like I know it's so hard. But that short-term sacrifice, and now the freedom, the absolute freedom to even pull back more if you wanted, right? I mean, just nothing. It's awesome.
Right. And in the middle of that, somebody was leading Financial Peace University classes. What do you tell them in the class when they ask, okay, yeah, but you make a lot of money. What's the secret to getting out of debt?
My dad has always told me, you're going to spend as much as you make. You're going to spend it in, for us, our priority was in the house. But for a lot of people, it's things that they can't even really remember what they spend it on. So it's just being focused. You got to determine a plan, and I highly encourage bringing your wife on board as well. It is a marriage. You can't do it alone. And once she committed with the Germany bribe, once she committed, there was nothing stopping us.
So when are you going to Germany?
Well, we were going to go this year, but it's going to be 2022 because that's when this lady that we're friends with is going to get married. So we're going to be there for her marriage, for her wedding.
Awesome.
And now you'll have a thorough understanding of the German language by the time you get there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll be fluent.
All right. Bring the 3 kiddos in and introduce them. Their names and ages are what?
Go on, guys.
Josiah is 6. Jess is 4. And Jeremiah's 2.
Almost 2.
And we've got to tell y'all a little bit about them.
So one day when I was gone, Josh took the kids and made a paper chain with them, each link representing $1,000 that we had left on the house. And each time we made a payment, it was a family affair. We went through our ritual of making the payment on the computer as a family and cutting off the appropriate amount of chains. And it was a great visual. But now that I stand here on the stage, I think about how debt has you in chains.
Count it down before we run out of time.
All right.
Let's hear your debt-free
Here we go in
scream.
German. 1, 2, 3.
We're debt free!
Well done, you guys. That's as good a celebration as I've had in a long time.
Sweet. Oh,
wow.
Precious. Amazing. Amazing, amazing.
Well done. Well played. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Amy Poehler said, limit your always and your nevers. I don't agree with that.
Limit your always and your nevers.
Don't never
Because
say,
it's too extreme?
Limit the time you say always and the time that you say nevers. Never. Unless you're just being a drama queen. But, I mean, there's some things you need to say. Never.
How many times have you disagreed with the quotes? That's fair.
Almost never. I never disagree with a quote. I always disagree with quotes.
Because they're like, I guess because she's saying because they're extremes?
Yeah, that's what she's trying to say. But my point is that there are principles in your life that you should always stick to, and some things you should never do.
It's fair. I don't know. I wish I had an argument to play devil's advocate, but I genuinely don't. I agree with you.
One of your favorite sports is arguing with me, so this is scary.
For the first time,
I'm worried about you. We need to have your temperature checked.
You're always fun to debate with. It's good. How many people push your buttons? I can push your buttons.
Hogan and me argue all the time.
No.
On the air live.
Not like us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. He makes fun of me all the time for being bald. Hurts my feelings.
Okay.
I'm sensitive that way. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Don't forget, 1 week from today, on Tuesday, January the 12th, we will be doing the Reset live stream. It is a free live stream with Chris Hogan, Rachel Cruz, Craig Groeschel, and me. It is time for you to hit the reset button. It is time for you to get the step-by-step money plan, to do the small things you need to do for 90 days that are going to show you how to get on track and get moving. We're going to lay it all out for you. So go to daveramsey.com/reset, and you can check out the whole thing having to do with Ramsey Plus and getting a free trial to it. And if you want to view the free Reset live stream to kickstart your money goals for 2021, text the word RESET to 33789. text RESET to 33789. There'll be 100 to 150,000 folks watching that live stream that night. We've already got 65,000, and we have a week to go. And it's free, by the way. Tell people about it. Tell your friends about it. They can start off 2021 with the best minds on the subjects of behavior and money, behavior around money, all of that. Amy is with us in Flint, Michigan. Hi, Amy. How can we help?
Hi, Dave. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How can we help?
So I had, in the spring, actually right when COVID hit, I had an issue with mold in my house. I have since got it fixed. Insurance covered it and everything. But I have been diagnosed with mold toxicity. So unfortunately, I am working from home and have been since about March. And I got a permanent position at home now. I have now found another mold spot in my house that has to be taken care of. So I'm not really sure how to go about it. You know, my insurance mold coverage is maxed out. So do I take out a loan to take care of all the mold because my health comes first? I mean, they're talking maybe up to $10,000 worth of damage. And I'm just not sure exactly how to go about it because I'm trying to follow your plan. I know that, I don't want to be slave to the lender. I don't want to take out another loan, but I know that my health comes first. So I'm not really sure how to go about it.
Are you single?
I am.
What's your household income?
It's about 36.
And you obviously own this home.
Yeah, I have 2 roommates.
What's the house worth?
Probably about 130-ish to 140.
And what do you owe on it?
About 110.
So a $10,000 loan, when you make $36,000 a year, is what's known as a lot of money. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to put your health in jeopardy, and I don't know enough about you being diagnosed with mold toxicity. As far as I understood, we all have mold toxicity. So it's new to me that some people have it and some don't. I don't know. I'm not being smart aleck. I just don't know. I know it's not good for anybody, is my point. And so if you've got a special level of sensitivity to it, which is I suspect what you're saying, then obviously it escalates the situation. I've been doing this show 30 years, and I've been put personally in a whole bunch of corners where it looked like the only way out was borrowing money, but I a long time ago gave up the idea of borrowing money. So I can't recommend you borrow money, so I have to recommend something else because I wouldn't do it myself. And I especially wouldn't do it if I made $36,000 a year and wouldn't borrow $10,000 for the second go-round of mold on the same stinking house. I'd sell this house and move. This is going to come up again. What are you going to do next time it's $10,000? I mean, this house has got a mold problem, or for some reason it's got a susceptibility.
Is it in a new area of the house, Amy? Like, why didn't they fix it in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a whole new area.
That's what I would say. I would say you didn't
originally
fix it. Well, the insurance maxed out, but you didn't fix the problem. I had mold in my house, and now I still have mold in my house. So, like, that's on them. They need to fix it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
But they had a certain amount. The insurance company had a cap. Your homeowner's mold coverage only went up to a certain amount.
Yeah, but that they need to explain that to her then, to say we can only fix X amount. It's like they didn't even find the other stuff.
Well, you knew you maxed out your insurance on the first repair, right?
Yeah, and I didn't find this new spot until just last week.
Yeah, but the point is though that it's if $10,000 is correct, that was a pretty substantial miss, Rachel's saying, by the mold people. I mean, if there's a $10,000 worth of mold damage and you finished work just a few months ago, they missed something, right? It had to already be there.
Yeah, this one was kind of hidden in the attic, and I don't know if they really did enough checking in the attic before.
Yeah, they missed it. So, I don't know what it means to your health if you can afford to live there for a little while without damaging your health. I don't know that. I don't know how to explain that. I know that Dave and Sharon Ramsey had a lot of different things come up that felt like they were impossible situations, and we were put in a corner where we had to make horrible choices. But to avoid debt and never going back again, we made those choices, and now 20 years later, we're extremely prosperous because we made those choices.
Well, and what it does, Amy, when you kind of make that line in the sand and you just say, no matter what, we're not borrowing money, that forces you to see other options.
Yep.
And then you get creative. And then you say, you know what? Maybe I will just sell the house. Or maybe I'm going to get out and have the roommates help pay. I mean, you start to actually look at different options versus just yielding to debt when you have that stance.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you were kind of wishy-washy a little bit in your question,
and
which I would understand why.
Maybe you got to work on your career because you don't make any money. And, you got to work on, maybe you're going to be working outside the home to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And that'd be okay too because average household income is $59,000 in America. And I'm not picking on you. I'm not shaming you for what you're making. I'm just saying that long term, 5 years from now, what are you going to be doing that makes you $80,000 a year instead of $36,000? And you need to be aiming at that, and that might be part of the fix for this $10,000 problem. It might be the extra job that you take on, and you go make $10,000 in a couple of months, and you work your tail end off over the next 3 months, and you make $10,000, and you pay cash for this fix. That's okay with me if you want to do that. If you can survive your health for those 3 months. I don't know how sensitive this situation is, but if it's super sensitive to where you're going to be seriously ill in the next 30 days,
get out of the house.
Then you need to move, and you need to put the house up for sale. And you need to not try to fix a moldy house all the time. Let's just move on. That puts this hour of the Dave Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.